In the heart of the Middle East, beyond the noise of public statements and televised threats, a silent war rages, unseen, unspoken, but deeply felt. It is a war without battlefields, yet one that claims victories and losses every day. A war where spies replace soldiers, where code replaces gunfire, and where truth is often buried beneath layers of deception. This is the hidden war, the ongoing secret struggle between Iran and Israel. For decades, these two nations have stood on opposite sides of ideology and ambition. Iran, a revolutionary state forged in the fires of 1979, seeks to project its power across the region, building alliances and influence through proxies and faith. Israel, born out of survival and surrounded by threats, views Iran's rise as an existential danger, a force determined to erase it from the map. Between them lies a contest that reaches far beyond their borders, one that stretches from the deserts of Syria to the waters of the Persian Gulf, from nuclear facilities deep underground to the silent networks of cyber warfare. Unlike wars of the past, this one hides in plain sight. Its battles unfold in diplomatic halls, secret intelligence briefings, and proxy conflicts scattered across the region. Assassinations of scientists, mysterious explosions, and cyber attacks that shut down entire systems, these are the weapons of their age. Neither nation declares war, yet both remain locked in a struggle that defines the Middle East's fragile balance. Every strike, every move, every alliance is a piece in a grand game, one played in the shadows where the cost of exposure could ignite the flames of open conflict. But behind politics and power lies something deeper, a war of identity. For Iran, this is a mission born of ideology, to challenge Western influence and champion resistance across the Muslim world. For Israel, it is a fight for survival, a determination to remain secure in a region where enemies grow in number and strength. And though both nations cloak their actions in strategy, at its heart, this is a battle of fear and vision, of how the Middle East should be shaped, and who should lead it. As we uncover the layers of this hidden war, we see that it is not a story of two nations alone, but of a region caught between ambition and survival, between shadow and truth. What began as whispers of rivalry has become a contest that may one day decide the fate of the Middle East itself. The conflict between Iran and Israel is one of the most complex and consequential struggles of the modern era. A confrontation not waged through open warfare, but through secrecy, strategy, and silent force. It is a shadow war, shaped by ideology, survival, and the pursuit of dominance in one of the most volatile regions on Earth. This is not a battle fought only on land or sea, but across invisible borders, through intelligence networks, covert operations, and alliances forged in the dark. It is a contest that has quietly redrawn the map of the Middle East, influencing everything from regional politics to global diplomacy, while remaining hidden behind the veil of official silence. At its heart lies a clash of visions. Iran, born from the 1979 Islamic Revolution, sees itself as the champion of resistance, a power that stands against Western influence, and the presence of Israel, which it views as a foreign entity imposed upon the region. Driven by ideology and ambition, Iran seeks to extend its reach across the Middle East through proxies, partnerships, and a steadfast commitment to its revolutionary ideals. In contrast, Israel, a nation forged from struggle and surrounded by historic hostility, perceives Iran's expansion as a direct threat to its survival. The idea of a powerful, nuclear-capable Iran, with influence stretching from Lebanon to Yemen, is, for Israel, a nightmare it cannot afford to ignore. This ideological divide fuels a conflict that is both silent and relentless. Unlike wars fought with armies, the Iran-Israel confrontation unfolds in the shadows, through cyberattacks, assassinations, and intelligence operations that leave few traces but carry immense consequences. Every move is measured, every strike carefully calculated to send a message without sparking a full-scale war. Theirs is a battle of precision, where information is as valuable as firepower, and secrecy is the greatest weapon of all. Yet this hidden war extends beyond borders. It shapes alliances, draws in global powers, and fuels tensions across the Middle East. From Syria, where Iranian-backed militias and Israeli airstrikes collide, to the Persian Gulf, where covert naval skirmishes unfold beneath international waters, every act echoes across the region. The United States, Russia, and other global powers find themselves drawn into this struggle, each forced to navigate the delicate balance between diplomacy and confrontation. What makes this conflict so enduring is that it is not simply about territory or politics. It is about identity, belief, and the right to define power in the modern Middle East. Iran and Israel are not just adversaries. They are symbols of opposing worlds, one revolutionary and defiant, the other defensive and determined. Their shadow war is not confined to the present, but is bound to the past, rooted in decades of mistrust and ideological opposition. It is a war fought in whispers, yet one whose outcome may shape the destiny of nations for generations to come. The roots of the Iran-Israel conflict run deep, embedded in the shifting sands of history, religion, and geopolitics. To truly understand this secret battle, one must look beyond the headlines, beyond the missiles, the cyber warfare, and the covert assassinations, and trace the currents of power that have shaped both nations' destinies. Iran and Israel were not always enemies. In the mid-20th century, they shared mutual interests. Both were non-Arab states in an Arab-dominated region, and both relied on Western powers for survival. Under the Shah, Iran and Israel maintained quiet ties, bound by economic and security cooperation. But all of that changed in 1979, when the Iranian Revolution overturned the monarchy and replaced it with a theocratic regime determined to challenge the global order, and in particular, the existence of Israel. The revolution transformed Iran into a self-proclaimed defender of the oppressed and a voice for Islamic resistance. To its new leaders, Israel was not just a political rival, it was a symbol of Western domination and moral decay. The cry of "Death to Israel" became more than a slogan. It became a declaration of ideological war. Israel, meanwhile, watched the rise of revolutionary Iran with growing alarm. A state that once had no direct border or territorial dispute with Israel had suddenly emerged as one of its fiercest enemies, seeking to expand influence across Lebanon, Syria, and beyond. Over time, this ideological divide evolved into a web of proxy wars and indirect confrontations. Iran's strategy was simple but effective: surround Israel with threats. Through its support for Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, and militias in Syria and Iraq, Iran sought to encircle Israel and keep it under constant pressure. This network of proxies allowed Tehran to wage war without directly engaging on the battlefield, blurring the line between open aggression and deniable action. Israel, on the other hand, adopted a doctrine of preemption. It would not wait for threats to grow. It would strike first. From air raids in Syria targeting Iranian supply lines to covert operations aimed at halting Iran's nuclear ambitions, Israel made it clear that it would act unilaterally to defend itself. The nuclear issue added yet another layer of danger. For Iran, nuclear technology represented progress, sovereignty, and deterrence, a shield against foreign intervention. But for Israel, it was an existential threat. The mere possibility of a nuclear-armed Iran transformed regional politics, leading to a campaign of sabotage, espionage, and diplomacy designed to halt Tehran's ambitions. Each side, convinced of its moral right, believes it is acting in defense of its people and principles. Today, the shadow of this conflict stretches across the entire Middle East. Every move in Yemen, Iraq, or Syria ripples through the delicate balance of power. Neither Iran nor Israel desires total war, yet both are trapped in a cycle of mistrust, ideology, and survival. Their secret struggle, rooted in history, continues to shape the fate of nations. In the modern era, the Iran-Israel conflict has evolved far beyond traditional warfare. It has entered an age where power is not only measured by armies or territory, but by influence, intelligence, and technology. This is a war waged in the digital realm, in diplomatic corridors, and through carefully crafted alliances. Each nation seeks to extend its reach, to shape narratives, and to secure dominance in a region where every move can shift the balance of power. The 21st century battlefield is no longer defined by open confrontation, but by unseen hands manipulating events, a silent war fought through strategy rather than soldiers. Iran's strength lies in its patience and persistence. Through decades of sanctions, isolation, and military pressure, it has built a network of influence that extends far beyond its borders. Its presence in Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, and Yemen demonstrates not only strategic depth, but also the ability to project power indirectly. Each proxy force, each militia, and each ally acts as part of a greater design to keep Iran's rivals occupied and to ensure that any attack against Tehran carries consequences across the region. This approach gives Iran leverage, not through open confrontation, but through control of instability. It turns conflict into a weapon, allowing Tehran to remain central in every regional crisis. Israel, on the other hand, has mastered the art of precision and preemption. Its intelligence network, one of the most advanced in the world, allows it to strike with surgical accuracy. From targeting nuclear scientists on Iranian soil to conducting cyberattacks that disrupt key infrastructure, Israel has demonstrated a capacity to wage war without declaring one. Its military doctrine is built on deterrence, the belief that strength must be visible, swift, and decisive. Every strike is a message, every operation is a warning. Yet beneath its technological edge lies a deep sense of vulnerability, a recognition that one mistake, one miscalculation could ignite a war that no one can control. The global stage adds further complexity. Powers like the United States, Russia, and China all play indirect roles in this conflict, shaping its course through alliances, arms deals, and diplomacy. The United States has long stood as Israel's most steadfast ally, providing military aid and political backing. Russia, conversely, has maintained a delicate balance, cooperating with Iran in Syria while maintaining ties with Israel to avoid escalation. China, ever the silent observer, seeks stability for its economic ambitions but cannot ignore the shifting tides of influence. The Iran-Israel rivalry is thus not only a regional conflict. It is a stage upon which global powers test their strategies. Ultimately, this hidden war is a reflection of the modern world, a conflict fought in shadows, shaped by ideology and sustained by fear. Neither side seeks destruction, yet both are bound by a cycle of defiance and defense. It is a struggle that transcends borders and generations, a reminder that the greatest wars are often those the world never truly sees.